Good evening and welcome. This is Primetime News on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, I am Thiruni Karunaratna, and as always, we're coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Well, tonight we meet as Sri Lanka continues to deal with the aftermath of Cyclone Ditto, which made landfall in the country yesterday. Now, although the cyclone is now moving away, the impact is still being felt by the country, with the numbers still rising, including those affected, the confirmed fatalities, as well as the missing. Well, we have a full update on everything that unfolded across the country today. But before we dive into the stories in detail, here are tonight's top stories. Kalani River flood alert. Evacuate low-lying areas in Colombo. Risk of breach at Ambathale flood control barrier. Athanagalu oil overflow submerges Gampaha town. Multiple rivers at major flood level. Ma oil, Daduru oil among them. Disaster death toll surpasses 150, over 200 missing. 11 dead as Parnala floods hit elderly home. 4 rescued. Landslide in Thulhiria. 21 missing. Rajangania bus rescue. Passengers saved from flood trap. Sri Lanka declares nationwide state of public emergency. From the very beginning of this severe weather situation in Sri Lanka to the ongoing aftermath that we are currently facing, we at Newsfirst have worked around the clock to bring to you the very latest updates, keeping you informed every step of the way. Now, across the country, there's one question that people are asking. What can we expect in the coming hours? What's next regarding Cyclone Ditto? Well, the Department of Meteorology has been providing us continuous updates throughout the day. As of this evening, the cyclone was located approximately 80 kilometers east of Jaffna and is expected to move away from the island by tomorrow. Now, while the direct impact of the cyclone on Sri Lanka is expected to subside, this situation is, of course, far from over. We're still dealing with the aftermath of this severe disaster. The heavy rains in the upper catchment areas have caused large volumes of water to flow downstream. This is why low-lying areas, particularly along the Kalani and Mahavali rivers, were issued heavy flood alerts, and residents were instructed to evacuate immediately. To those living in these areas, this risk that you are facing now is far from over. We urge you to exercise extreme caution and remain vigilant at all times. Now, this is considered the heaviest flood situation Sri Lanka has faced since 2016. To all of our viewers out there, if you have been instructed to evacuate, please do so without delay. The numbers are rising even as we speak, and we do not want anyone to become yet another statistic. The human toll continues to rise with over 150 confirmed deaths and 203 individuals still missing. Now, according to the latest Disaster Management Center update, 833,985 people from 234,503 families have been affected nationwide. Authorities have opened 919 safety centers, now sheltering over 122,000 displaced people. Entire districts remain submerged. Gampaha, the worst hit, reports 197,144 affected residents, while Putlam struggles with 135,922 victims. According to the Department of Meteorology, Cyclone Ditto is currently centered 80 kilometers northeast of Jaffna. The department said that the system will move northward while leaning towards northwestward and reach the Tamil Nadu coast in India tomorrow. Additionally, the officials at the department said that as the cyclone moves away from the island, a significant decrease in rain and wind conditions is expected. However, heavy rains exceeding 100 millimeters are possible in the northern, north central, central and northwestern provinces tonight. The department's weather forecast states that moderately heavy rains exceeding 50 millimeters are also possible in the Sabaragamuwa and western provinces. In addition, the Met Department says that very strong winds of up to 50 to 60 kilometers per hour are possible in the northern, north central, central and northwestern provinces as well as in the Trincomalee district. At times, gusty winds of up to 70 to 80 kilometers per hour may also occur in those areas. Well, earlier today, Newsfirst gathered aerial footage of the extent of the damage that was caused to the Gampaha district. We witnessed how major landmarks of the Gampaha town, including the railway station, bus stand and parts of the under-construction expressway, all of this inundated. Many low-lying areas of the Gampaha town were severely submerged. Several factories in the area had also been hit by the floodwaters and some had been submerged up to their roofs. Well, what you're seeing right now are visuals, the aerial footage that Newsfirst managed to gather of the extent of damage that was caused to the Gampaha district. What we could see was how major landmarks in the Gampaha town, including the railway station, bus stand, as well as parts of the under-construction expressway, all inundated. And also many low-lying areas of the Gampaha town were severely submerged. Several factories in the area had also been hit by floodwaters, and some have been submerged up to their roofs. And this is what you're witnessing on the screen right now. It is also important to remind our viewers that severe flood warnings have been issued to residents of the low-lying areas in the Gampaha district. And if you have been issued these evacuation orders, once again we remind you, please do so. Your life is always the top priority for this nation. So make sure to immediately evacuate if you have been ordered to do so. Aerial footage of the Kadwala town were received as well, as it shows how the deluge had affected the area. Let's take a look. Once again, we need to remind our viewers who are watching us from across the island. Authorities have highlighted several areas as regions that are prone to severe floods and have issued evacuation orders. if you have been ordered to evacuate, please do so immediately. Your life is what matters the most, and that is always the top priority for all of us. We do not want you to become yet another statistic. The numbers are climbing even as we speak. So please bring yourself to safety before anything else. A state of public emergency in Sri Lanka was officially declared today by President Anurukumara Dissanayake through a Gazette Extraordinary. The announcement, published in Extraordinary Gazette number 2464/30, invokes powers under the Public Security Ordinance Act number 8 of 1959 and subsequent amendments, granting the government authority to implement emergency regulations island-wide. According to the Gazette, the declaration aims to protect public safety and national stability during the prevailing crisis, enable rapid disaster response and coordination across all sectors. This declaration of a state of public emergency in Sri Lanka comes as the South Asian island battles one of its worst weather-related disasters in recent history, with widespread flooding, landslides and infrastructure damage affecting hundreds of thousands of people. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka Navy announced that 60 passengers trapped on a bus swept by floodwaters near the Kalaoya Bridge have been rescued safely. The rescue was carried out through a special overnight operation. Navy spokesperson Commander Buddhika Sampath stated that the operation was conducted using Navy boats. Among those rescued were a foreign national woman and a High Court judge. All rescued individuals have been admitted to the Nochiagama Hospital for medical care. The bus, which had departed from Anuradhapura to Colombo, became stranded yesterday afternoon near the Kalaoya Bridge after being hit by a sudden surge of floodwaters. Following the incident, Navy personnel moved the passengers to the roof of a nearby building for temporary safety, where they remained until the rescue operation was completed. A special team reached the site using boats and helicopters, including an Mi-17 helicopter of the No. 6 Helicopter Squadron from the Anuradhapura base to assist in the evacuation. The rescue required multiple attempts under extremely challenging conditions.
I boarded the bus in Anuradhapura. When we approached Kalaoya, villagers warned the driver not to cross, but the bus went ahead. Water rose quickly, reaching seat level. We had no way out. Suddenly, 3 Navy officers appeared and told us to climb onto the roof of the bus. They secured ropes to trees and helped the women up. Later, they moved us to a nearby house with an asbestos roof. It was around 5 meters. After we got onto the roof, we witnessed the bus being washed away by the flood waters. Then we started making calls. I made calls to soldiers known to me, asking for help. Then a helicopter arrived, but it could not come to us because the roofing sheets were being blown away. If that happened, all of us would have died. There were around 70 passengers. Because of the strong current, the rear part of the house collapsed and 3 people were washed away. 1 person grabbed onto a tree and he was rescued. The other 2 were also rescued by the Navy. If the Navy had been 10 minutes late, we would have all been gone. It's impossible to put into words the help we received. From the officer in charge at Saliyavawa police station to the OIC at Rajanganaya, the Air Force, the Navy, they all worked tirelessly. Even the media played a role. Their support was crucial. By this morning, thanks to all these efforts, our lives were saved.
The rescue operation was closely monitored last night by the President and senior officials from the Ministry of Defence, underscoring the seriousness of the situation. Sri Lanka Air Force successfully rescued 33 individuals stranded due to severe flooding in the Giribava area of Rajanganaya earlier this morning. An Mi-17 helicopter from the No. 6 Helicopter Squadron at the Anuradhapura Air Base was deployed for the mission. An aircraft landed in the affected zone and evacuated all individuals safely. Following the rescue, the group was transported to the Anuradhapura Air Force Base, where they were provided with necessary assistance. In another rescue mission, the Sri Lanka Air Force were able to rescue 4 individuals, including a Buddhist monk, who were trapped in the Nikavaratia area. The rescue mission was carried out using a Bell 212 helicopter of the Sri Lanka Air Force. Meanwhile, in another rescue mission, 3 women were rescued from a bridge near the Malbatu Oil Railway crossing in Anuradhapura. This rescue mission was carried out with the aid of a Bell 412 helicopter of the No. 4 Squadron of the Air Force. The rescued individuals were also airlifted to the Air Force camp in Anuradhapura. This is the manner in which another individual was rescued by the Air Force in Chilau and airlifted to a safe location. This rescue mission was carried out by the No. 4 Squadron of the Sri Lanka Air Force camp in Ratmalana. A Bell 412 helicopter was used in the mission. Meanwhile, 2 Indian Chetak helicopters that had arrived in Sri Lanka aboard the aircraft carrier INS Vikrant were deployed for search and rescue operations in Gampaha and Divulupitiya this afternoon. These helicopters were used in the rescue and evacuation of 8 individuals of 2 families who were trapped in the floodwaters in the Pannala area. This rescue mission was a joint operation that utilized pilots and divers of the Indian Air Force as well as pilots of the Sri Lanka Air Force. In another of many rescue missions that are taking place across Sri Lanka, this is the manner in which a group of people who were trapped in the floodwaters in Mirigama were rescued by boat. More individuals who were trapped in floodwaters in the Gampaha town were rescued in a joint operation by the police and navy. Another group of displaced people in Hangalla were rescued and evacuated to safer grounds using buses belonging to the Sri Lanka Army. A group of individuals trapped in floodwaters in Ipalogama, Anuradhapura were rescued by boat in the following manner. Multiple major cities across the island have been hit with heavy rain. Distressingly, communication from certain cities have broken down in recent days. Major landslides were also reported in some areas. Here's the latest on the situation.
The flow of information from Gampala in the Kandy district was hampered in recent days due to disasters induced by heavy rains. The Sri Lanka police confirmed that 18 deaths were reported from Gampala by this morning, while 55 people are reported missing. Disasters such as mudslides, landslides and floods have affected several communities in the area. Communication links were also disrupted due to power outages. However, several rescue teams are currently on their way to Gampala. The Gampala-Navalapitiya main road was washed away from Gadolbokwa in Ulapane.
ඩොල්ෆින් එකක් කෙරුණා. මම අයා පැත්තෙන් දාලා ඒකට පස් කැවුල්ලා එනවා ගලාගෙන. මෙතනින් උඩට යනකොට මෙතන ගහ කඩනවා. ලොරිය උඩට නැගලා ගහ කපලා මම ලොරිය එළියට දාගත්තා කොහොමද.
Our cameras also captured these scenes along the Gatambe-Gelioya road this morning. Our reporters say that the water in Gelioya, which had been submerged for several days, has now receded. More than 50 deaths have been reported from the Kandy district so far and over 100 reported missing. The bodies of 10 people who lost their lives in Rambukala landslide on the Ankumbura Alavatagoda road in Matale have been recovered. 40 people remain missing. Relief teams are facing difficulties reaching the site. Landslides and road obstructions have been reported in several areas of Kothmale. Seven people have died and 25 are missing following a landslide in Rambodagama, Kothmale. Telephone connections in the area are disrupted, rendering it impossible to contact residents.
මේ ඊයේ 10:45ට ආපු නාය තමයි මේ පේන්නේ. තාමත් එකම විදියට වතුර ගලනවා. පාරවල් වෙන් වෙලා පාරවල් පේන්නේ නැහැ. මේ ප්‍රධාන පාර පූර්ණුය.
Various disasters have been reported in several villages in Mahianganaya. The bodies of 7 people who died in Yahangala mountain landslide in Hasalaka have been recovered from the Batumulla area. 21 people are still missing. Badulla has also been severely affected by the extreme weather. 35 people have died and 27 are missing in the district. Roads to villages such as Haliyala, Kandagedra, Panakannaya, Galauda and Kandakatiya remain blocked. The upcountry railway line has been severely damaged from Uduwara Haliyala. A bus stationed in Bulatwakta Badulla was swept away by the deluge. The Spring Valley Bridge in Badulla has also been heavily damaged. A landslide occurred in Palpatha Utuamkanda at 2:15 am today. Our Newsfirst correspondent noted that those who were trapped due to the landslides were recovered. 21 people are missing following a landslide that occurred in Monroviyawatta Thulihiriya, Varakapola this afternoon.
Now, heavy flooding from the overflowing Kalani River submerged several towns across the Colombo and Gampaha districts. CCTV footage captured the rising water levels since last night. By around 1 p.m, Gampaha was completely flooded, disrupting daily life. This was the situation in Yakkala this evening. Malvana was also severely affected by the floods.
Bali, kaya mo
Many parts of Negombo were inundated. This is the situation in Muruthana, Negombo. Tiharia in Gampaha also experienced heavy flooding. The Kalaniya Biagama road was submerged as well.
Kalaniya Biagama water matta me wage thamai tiyenne. Wage enagawata tiyenawa ekina adi 4කට වැඩි.
Egoda Kalaniya was similarly affected. Several towns across Gampaha were underwater by this evening. In the Colombo district, many areas including Shah-Ala, Kotikawatta, Hangballa, Keravalapitia, Kohilavatta, Kolonnawa and Rajagiriya were submerged. This was the situation in Ballavatta this afternoon. This was the situation in Hangballa this morning.
Parts of the Kaduwela town were inundated as a result of the Kalani River overflowing. We are currently in close proximity to the Kalani River, and I am currently speaking in close proximity to the Kaduwela bus stand as well. And as we speak, we can see people evacuating from these areas and getting to safer locations. So stay tuned for the latest from this area. Reporting from Kaduwela, I'm Stevin Machado. The Kaduwela Biagama road from the Bandarawatha junction was severely inundated due to the overflowing of the Kalani River.
We are currently in Bandarawatha along the Kaduwela Biagama main road. This road, which used to be a main road, has now been totally inundated from the overflow of the Kalani River. As Sri Lanka continues to experience adverse weather, you can see in the distance there are two people who are walking in knee-deep water, and area residents who spoke to us told us that the water levels continue to rise and they await support and relief from the authorities as water continues to rise. I am currently reporting to you from Bandarawatha along the Kaduwela Biagama main road. For Newsfirst, I am Jayama Ratna.
Meanwhile, a national disaster relief team from India arrived in Sri Lanka this morning to assist those affected by the severe weather, travelling aboard a C-130 special cargo aircraft of the Indian Air Force. Amid these challenging times, the United States has stepped forward with a significant pledge of $2 million to support urgent relief operations. US Ambassador to Sri Lanka, Julie Chung, announced this commitment in a post on X.
Sri Lanka Air Force spokesperson Group Captain Erandagi Ganage stated that a large stock of essential items including sanitary supplies had been delivered. The handover ceremony was attended by a group of Indian Air Force officers including Maitreya Kulkarni, Development Assistance Representative of the Indian High Commission. On behalf of Sri Lanka, the Chief of Staff of the Sri Lanka Air Force, Air Vice Marshal Lasitha Sumanavira, along with a group of officers, participated in the event.
The first flight carrying relief materials donated by the Republic of India and the people of India to support the people of Sri Lanka has arrived in the island. On behalf of the Republic of Sri Lanka, we express our sincere gratitude to the Republic of India and its people.
A special Indian Air Force aircraft carrying Illusion 76 rescue troops arrived at Bandar Naik International Airport, Kattunayake from New Delhi, India to provide relief assistance. The flight brought 9 tons of essential goods and 8 tons of equipment required by the Indian rescue troops as aid. A total of 80 personnel, including 76 soldiers and 4 women soldiers from 2 Indian rescue battalions, were part of the contingent. The troops will be deployed at the Katunayake Air Force Base and will operate according to the requirements and instructions of the Disaster Management Center. They were accompanied by 4 specially trained rescue dogs, 18 boats, generators and a large stock of operational equipment. The arrival ceremony at Katunayake Airport was attended by the Acting High Commissioner of India to Sri Lanka, Dr. Satyanshul Pandey, Air Vice Marshal of the Sri Lanka Air Force, Lasitha Sumanavera, Director General of the Sri Lanka Civil Aviation Authority, Captain Daminda Rambukwala, and several senior officials from the Sri Lankan Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
In this hour of need of Sri Lanka, of distress, of natural disaster, going by Prime Minister's first neighborhood first policy, India stands committed and we are the first responder in this time of need for Sri Lanka. We had donated around 6 tons of relief assistance immediately from our onboard vessel INS Vikrant and INS Udaygiri yesterday. Following it up, a C-130J aircraft landed last night and handed over roughly 12 tons of relief assistance material. Right now, we are in front of Hercules IL-76 aircraft, which has brought around 8 tons of relief assistance. We have also brought a specialized civilian people stuck in disaster-prone areas, and we look forward to work with Sri Lankan side and give every possible assistance to them in the coming days.
This air support reached Sri Lanka at the request of the government under the guidance of the President. The second aircraft is an IL-76. 18 boats were also received. With today's assistance, relief flights can continue without delay. This support will greatly strengthen ongoing operations.
2 Mi-17 V5 helicopters of the Indian Air Force arrived in Sri Lanka this evening to support ongoing search and rescue operations. The helicopters carried 22 personnel along with essential humanitarian and disaster relief supplies. The helicopters were captained by Wing Commander Nagesh Kumar and Wing Commander Mukul Mahajan. Additionally, 2 Indian Chetak helicopters from INS Vikrant have been deployed for search and rescue operations along with Sri Lanka Air Force personnel on board to locate people displaced from severe flooding in the country. Indian External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar confirmed that the Chetak helicopters along with Air Force personnel from INS Vikrant have departed for search and rescue operations.
Amid the relentless floods sweeping across the island, a race against time unfolded at the Chilau Base Hospital.
Amid the ongoing severe weather and widespread flooding, the Sri Lanka Air Force undertook a humanitarian airlift operation to save 3 critically ill children from Chilau Base Hospital, where power outages had disrupted medical care. 2 infants aged 28 days and 35 days and a 10-year-old child with severe injuries were airlifted under supervision of 2 doctors aboard a Bell 412 helicopter from the No. 4 Squadron at Ratmalana Air Force Base. The mission transported them to Katunayake Air Base, from where they were rushed by ambulance to Lady Ridgeway Children's Hospital in Colombo for emergency treatment.
Newsfirst with the people.
Newsfirst, main sponsor.
Valuable FD, the symbol of stability. Valuable FD, the symbol of stability.
Amid the relentless rains and challenging weather conditions, the Sirasa Shakti Sahana Yatra continues to receive unwavering support from generous donors. Well, today marks the 2nd day of this humanitarian mission. Less than 24 hours after setting out with essential supplies, the convoy is now on the ground, delivering aid directly to the affected communities, bringing hope where it is needed the most. Following the announcement by the Maharaja Media Network last afternoon that the Sirasa Shakti Sahana Yatra would once again be launched to assist communities affected by severe weather, donors began arriving at collection centres immediately. These collection centres are the MTV MBC head office at Braybrook Place, Colombo 2, the Panama Broadcasting Centre, Ratnalana Stein Studios, Kotahena Satya Sai Baba Centre, Candy City Centre, first floor. Artists, local residents and countless well-wishers joined hands with the Maharaja Media Network, volunteering their time and effort to support fellow citizens in distress. Sri Lanka Army, the Sarvodaya Movement and the Sri Lanka Life Saving Association have partnered with the Sirasa Shakti Sahana Yatra for this mission. Essential items such as rice, lentils, noodles, biscuits, soy meat, canned fish, bottled water and sanitary products can be handed over at the designated collection centres.
ඇත්තටම මුළු ලංකාවෙම බැලුවොත් මම විශ්වාස කරන ලොකුවටම විශ්වාස කරන ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එකක් තමයි මේක. ඒකාන්ත තමයි මම මෙතනටම ඇවිල්ලා ඇවිල්ලා බඩු ටික බාර දුන්නේ. ඇත්තටම මේ සිරස කරන එක ලංකාවට ලොකු ශක්තියක්. සිරස ඉන්න එකත් ලංකාවට ලොකු ශක්තියක්.
මම හිතන්නේ ඇත්තටම මේ ශ්‍රී ලාංකික ජනතාවට මේ වගේ ආපදාවකට මුහුණ දෙන්න වෙච්ච මේ අවස්ථාවන් කීපයක් තියෙනවා. ඒ හැම අවස්ථාවකම මේ රටේ ජනතාව කිසිම මේ ආගම් ભેදයක් ජාති ભેදයක් නැතුව හැමෝන්ටම එකා වගේ එංගොලන් ගැන හිතලා උදව් කරනවා. සිරසින් කරන මේ වැඩසටහන බොහොමත්ම මේ අපි පැසසුමට ලක් කරන්න යුතු කාරණයක් කියලාත් මම සඳහන් කරන්න කැමතියි.
රටේ ජනතාවට එකට එකතු වෙලා මේ වගේ සුවිශේෂී මෙහෙවරක් කරන්න අපිට හැකියාව වාසනාව ලැබිලා තියෙන අද සිරස සහන ශක්තිය යාත්‍රා නිසා. ඉතින් සිරසෙන් වැඩ කරොත් අනිවාර්යෙන් සිරස තමයි තන හදන තැන.
මේක අපි හැම පාරම කරන එකක්. සිරස through තමයි අපි ඔක්කොම බඩු ටික යවන්නේ. මොකද අපිට මාර විශ්වාසයක් තියෙනවා හරියට වැඩේ වෙනවා කියලා. මොකද
අපි බොහොම සතුටුයි ඇත්තටම මේ වගේ සිරස මේ වගේ කටයුත්තක් කරන එක ගැන. මොකද මොන දේ වුණත් හැමදාම සිරස ඒ මිනිස්සුන්ට ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙච්ච වෙලේ ඉදිරියෙන් හිටියා.
From the very first moment, aid began pouring in from across the country. Last night, the initial supplies collected were distributed to flood-affected families in Colonnaba. This morning, the relief convoy continued its operations in Colonnaba. A large consignment of aid gathered by the Sirasa Shakti Sahana Yatra was officially handed over to the Sri Lanka Air Force this afternoon for distribution to affected communities. In addition, the convoy delivered drinking water and essential food items to stranded air passengers at the Katunaika airport, ensuring that their immediate needs were met. Later today, the convoy departed from the Depanama Broadcasting Centre, carrying relief supplies for flood-affected residents in Giriulla. Another team left the MTV MBC head office premises in Braybrook Place with aid destined for Avisabella Puakpitia, continuing the mission to reach every corner impacted by this disaster. I'm now joined by Budmin Amaradivakara, who is currently in Giriulla. He has the very latest on the Sahanayatra convoy that was dispatched to the area. Budmin?
Right now we are here in Giriulla, and as you can see, this area doesn't have power and electricity during the past few days because of the extreme weather conditions and also because of the floods. And we here as the Sirasa Shakti Sahanayatra, we came here with the help, and we came with a lot of goods and a lot of goods for you, for the Sri Lankans. And as you can see, people are lined up here, people who are in dire need, who need the help of Sri Lanka is here in Giriulla. And we'll be visiting a lot of locations around this area, and we went to a few villages as well. And a big problem is they don't have water, and also they don't have power and electricity as well here in Giriulla. So this is the latest comment to you, reporting to you. I am Budmin Amaradivakara for Newsfirst.
Thank you very much, Budmin. We are now being joined by Krishan Devasagayam, joining us from the Sahanayatra collection point that is established at the MTV head office premises right here in Colombo. Krishan, please bring us up to speed on the situation there.
Jamal. Well, thank you, Theruni. It's the second day of the Sirasa Shakti Sahanayatra, and the operation here has only gotten bigger. As always, the response towards the Sahanayatra has been overwhelming, and the towers of dry rations that surround us and what you can see on your screens at the moment speak for itself. Well, this is the beauty of the heart.
Right now we're having a small technical issue that we're facing, but we'll try to get connection with Krishan in just about a bit. Let's move on to another update that's coming in a development that took place late this evening. Indian Navy ship Sukanya has reportedly left the port of Visakhapatnam, heading to Sri Lanka with relief material to be delivered to flood-affected communities. Will also
the Sirasa Shakti Sahanayatra. Sri Lanka needs you. Please donate the following dry rations and help those who need it the most: rice, dal, noodles, soya meat, canned fish and biscuits. You can hand over these items at the following 5 collection points: the MTV head office, Brebru Place, Colombo 2, the Deparnama Studio Complex in Panipitia, Stein Studios, Ratmalana, the Kandy City Centre in Kandy, and the Sri Satya Sai Baba Centre in Kotaheda. For further inquiries, please call 076 552 5000. Together, we can make a difference.
Well, as you just saw, the Sirasa TV Shakti Sahanayatra initiative is in full swing even as we speak. There are 5 collection points that we have established for you to drop off the donations that you have to offer to the people across our country who are affected by these severe weather conditions. Well, before we sign off tonight, we urge all of our viewers to remain highly vigilant. If you are in these high-risk zones, please move to safer ground immediately and follow all the official instructions that are given to you. Your safety is our top priority, and your lives truly matter to us. We also once again remind you that the Sirasa TV Sahanayatra Relief Initiative is fully underway. Contributions in the form of rations can be made at these 5 collection points that we mentioned just a short while ago. Every donation can indeed make a real difference in the lives of those who are affected. Thank you very much for joining us on Primetime News tonight. Stay safe. Good night.